Alright, guys. So, if you have not seen Star Wars The Force Awakens yet, do not continue watching this video. Turn off the video now. If you continue to watch this video, it will be spoiled for you, and you will hate me for the rest of your life. Now, if you are too broke or poor, or you just want to know about it, continue to watch the video. I will go scene by scene, tell you the whole story, everything I saw, for you guys to enjoy. Okay, so this is part 2, where I left you guys at. Let's do a quick recap. Finn, which was a stormtrooper, decided he didn't want to be a stormtrooper no more, so he defected. Kylo Ren kills Poe Dameron's dad. They're trying to get rid of the Resistance. Poe Dameron and Finn escaped together after Poe was captured. We learned the plot line behind, or the storyline behind, Rey. What else? BB-8. We get to see BB-8 and his awesomeness, and we get to see right off the bat how strong Kylo Ren really could be or is by stopping a laser blast mid-flight and having it stand still there for probably about 5 to 10 minutes. And then it's not until after he gets on his ship and takes off that the laser impacts. What else? They come back to the planet. They encounter, not they. Poe's missing. We don't know what's up with him. Finn finds BB-8 and Rey, which are together, and they are able to escape in the Millennium Falcon after an awesome dogfight. Okay, now they escape. They're in outer space, but the ship breaks down. So ship breaks down. Whatever. They're trying to fix it. In between, right after they get done fixing it, they lose power to the ship because the ship's being boarded by the First Order. But it turns out it wasn't the First Order. Finn just thought it was them, and it turns out to be Han Solo and Chewbacca. So after being threatened to being thrown off the ship, they were able to convince Han Solo and Chewbacca to help them out to try to find Luke Skywalker. Okay. All right. So there they are. They're in there arguing, talking to each other, and they hear a noise. And they're like, oh no, I hope the whatever monster didn't get out. And then Finn freaks out. Wait, you're hauling whatever they are? You know those are super dangerous. How did you even get them on the ship? And then the guy was like, Han Solo was like, no, not just 1, 3. And he was like, what? And he's like, well, my crew used to be bigger. Believe it or not. So he's in this big frigate looking thing, and it's got all kinds of junk inside. And I guess he's like some kind of junker now. And then so what happens next? Han Solo is boarded by another ship. Now, the ship that boards him, a bunch of the Devastator guys come out. Let me see if my camera zoom now. Zoom. Pretty much the red guy that's right there. The red guy with the black thing on his head. That's him. So a bunch of those guys come in. I think they're called Devastators. They come in with this one guy, and they're like, hey, man, we want what's coming to us. You ripped us off. Han Solo's like, fools, don't even trip. I got you guys. Have I ever not delivered? And they're like, yep. And then Chewie's in the background, awesome as can be. Right? And Chewbacca, Han Solo's like, wait, what was the second time, you know? And he's all like, well, you can't trust those other guys because, you know, they're liars. He's like, oh, yeah, you sure? Ask them yourself. And they're in this long corridor, and you got little hallways in between here and there, right? And so they're at the far end coming in from the airlock. Han Solo's in the middle, and then on the other side of the airlock is the rest of the guys. And they open the door and they're like, "You, what's up, guys? Nice to see you." And in the other language they're speaking, they're like, "No, not so nice to see you. You screwed us for the last time. You can't hide no more, and everybody already knows you're a swindler, and blah 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 blah." So Finn and Ray are hiding because they didn't want to get caught up with these guys. He was just going to talk them away or whatever. But they're like, "Hey, well, you know what? The First Order's looking for BB-8 just like that one. Hand them over." And so in between all that, Ray and Finn are trying to figure out how to help these guys out. And so I guess Ray is a real good mechanic. Probably as good as Anakin. So she's pretty much, she can look at a breaker or the electrical equipment on the ship and just be like, "Okay, I'm pulling this and I know exactly what's going to happen." Well, she pulled something hoping that the airlocks or the bulkheads would close on the in between them, and then she would open the space whatever and eject them out into space. Well, it didn't work that way. She ended up opening the cages to these three animals. Now, these three animals, if you ever played the Nintendo 64 Shadows of the Empire game, those things that were there had tentacles. Like on one of the planets where you were in the sewers with a jetpack, there was these like round monsters with tentacles and a mouth in the middle. That's exactly what those things look like, just like that. If you have not played it, they look like a giant squid, but it's round. Same kind of teeth in the middle with like the Kraken, except there was many teeth like the Sarlacc pit, kind of like that, just mobile. So those things come out and they start killing the two factions that were in there trying to come up on Solo, and so they ended up escaping to the Millennium Falcon. While they're on the Falcon, they're like, "Well, we'll never get the doors open." He's like, "You know what? We're just going to jump from in here. We're going to go straight to light speed from inside the ship." "Is that even possible?" He's like, "I don't really ask that until I've already done it." So they get in there and they do it. They go to light speed and it from inside the ship. I don't know how he did it, but he did it. And they were able to get away. But before he got away, they send out a radio call to the First Order and tell them that let the First Order know that what do they call them, the God, I already forgot the word, the fugitives and the BB-8 unit are on the ship with Han Solo and on the Millennium Falcon. So news gets back to so from there we cutscene back to Kylo Ren. Kylo Ren is in this big room and he's talking to, I'm assuming, is his master. It's his master. He's talking to his master. His master's freaking huge. This big old thing, probably the size of his. Well, no, not the size of his ship, but he's a big guy, like bigger than Chewbacca, almost like as big as the Sentinels from the X-Men. About that big. So there he is, and they're talking back and forth, and he's telling them, "You know what? You have one more thing you need to face before you can become full, dark side, I guess. And that's confront your parents. That's the thing that's holding you back. And it'll be a true test to you." So he's like, yeah, don't trip, Master. I got this. So cutscene back to Han Solo, Chewie, Rey, Finn. They go to this planet, and the planet if you remember the trailers, they're walking up into this building and this big old bulky robot's coming out, and then you look up and you see all these flags up. Okay, they're going into there. It turns out it's a cantina of some kind. And so they walk in and they're talking to this lady that owns it, an alien lady. And she's all like, "What do you want?" Stuff like that. She's got these big old bifocals on her eyes. She has little tiny eyes, so they make them wider, bigger. And well, long story short, there is pretty much she's telling Han Solo she needs to go back home. He needs to go back home and confront Princess Leia. You know, there's an argument there that's gonna happen. I don't know what about yet, and you know that you need to confront that. And not only that, we need to confront the First Order before they become powerful and kill everybody. So there they are. They're arguing back and forth, and Rey hears something. She hears like a little girl crying or something like that. Before that, oh, I'm sorry, yeah, I got ahead of myself. Finn and Rey have a discussion amongst all of them, and they're like, "Yeah, I gotta go. I'm not staying. I'm not staying here. The First Order, they're gonna kill everybody. They don't care. If you're in their way, they're gonna kill you, and they are unstoppable. You need to run. All you can do is run. Just run." So they're like, "Well, no, I can't. We can't. We're not gonna do it." And he's like, "Well, I'm out," and he's like out. So him and Finn, or her and Finn, get in an argument or whatever, and so she's like, "Okay, I'm out then." So while she's leaving, or while she's walking away, she hears the voice of a little girl crying. So she follows it downstairs to the basement. She walks to the end of the corridor, and she opens this door, or this door opens on its own, and she walks in, and she's called to this box. It's just laying there. She opens the box, and right there, Luke Skywalker's lightsaber. How do I know it's Luke Skywalker's lightsaber? It's undistinguishable. If you don't know what Luke Skywalker's lightsaber looks like, then you don't know Star Wars. If I were to describe it to you, it's long, cylindrical, silver. It's got a couple buttons on the top, and at the bottom part, it's got long little lines that protrude out that are black in color, and that's Luke Skywalker's lightsaber. So, as soon as she touches it, she's drawn into this. I can't remember if I don't think it's Cave of Wonders, but it's, if you remember when Luke Skywalker was on Dagobah with Yoda, he senses something that draws him into the woods, into the swamps, and Yoda was like, only darkness you will find in there, or something like that. He ends up going in there and he fights himself, and the mask comes off, and it's himself as Darth Vader. So she's drawn into something similar like that, except that she didn't turn out to be the bad guy. She fights. She ends up fighting. Well, not fighting, but running away from Kylo Ren on Starkiller Base in that little flashback thing, and she gets a flashback of when she was a child, and you can actually see her being held by somebody while a ship is leaving. Right away, telling you that she was abandoned on purpose, and that they're not coming back, or probably even sold into slavery, and she's not coming back. So in between all that, she comes out of it, and the owner of the lightsaber comes down, and she's like, "You need to take this." She's like, "I'm not touching this. I want to go away." So she ends up leaving the place, and as she leaves, then you hear all the stormtroopers come in, all the ships are coming and everything. They start bombarding the cantina, and they pretty much collapse everything. And oh wait. Oh, I can't believe I forgot this part. Okay, before that happens, cutscene back to Starkiller Base. Starkiller Base is similar to the Death Star, but on a humongous scale. Okay, it's an entire freaking planet. The planet is a goddamn laser blaster, pretty much, is for the lack of a better term, because they didn't even say it on there. It's like a big blaster. They shoot an enormous beam of light, of laser, across the galaxy, and they target the core planets of Coruscant. All the planets that surround Coruscant. Probably about 7, maybe 5 to 7 planets. Wipe them out. One shot. And you can see the destruction from light years away. Dude, they were on this planet that was light years away from the Coruscant system. And you can see the explosions. You can see the beam of light. And when you see the beam of light, everybody's freaking out. And that's when Finn decided to come back to find Rey and everybody because he was going to help them. But Rey was gone. BB-8 was gone. And that's when you hear all the TIE fighters come in and all the troop transports and stuff like that. And so there you have it. Everybody's panicking. People are running. People are trying to hide. People are trying to get away. But the troops come. They're bombarding everything. So they're shooting everybody up. Everybody's trying to get away. Eventually, this is kind of funny. Han Solo picks up Chewbacca's rifle, and he shoots he picks up his rifle and he shoots somebody while they were still on the ship, those Devastator guys, and was like, wow. I'm assuming he's never picked it up, and so he doesn't know how powerful that that bow was. But now that he knows, he's like, I like this, right? And he's like, give me yours, and he starts shooting people with it. It's funny. If you haven't seen it, you're gonna love that part. So Chewbacca, well, they end up getting caught. Finn, Chewbacca, and the other guy, and Han Solo. Finn has the lightsaber. The lady gave Finn the lightsaber, and so he's like running around chopping fools up. And one of his fellow stormtroopers says, "Traitor!" And he pulls out that force wielded weapon. It's got like electricity running through it to combat a lightsaber. He starts swinging that thing around, and they're fighting back and forth, and Finn ends up losing. But before he can get squashed by this guy's mallet thing, he gets shot by Han Solo, and he gets saved. But they get overrun, and they get caught up. So as what's his name comes and lands, Kylo Ren, but before he actually sees Han Solo, he runs after Rey. He runs after Rey. So as they're processing them to get captured, probably to go through some kind of torture or to get information out of them, that's when the Resistance comes in. And if you remember the trailers, when the X-Wings are coming in next to the water, and the water's like splashing up. Okay, yeah, that came in one of the most epic dogfights. Not as good as the Millennium Falcon against 3 TIE fighters, but this thing was dope. Okay, I mean it was an awesome fight. Number 2 out of that flick. And so there they are. They're fighting and they're winning and they're wiping the shit out of them. And after they all win and all the stormtroopers are gone, they land, and my girl Princess Leia comes out. Carrie Fisher, I freaking love you. Carrie Fisher comes out looking fine as fly, and Han Solo's standing there like a little puppy dog, like, I'm sorry, but he's not gonna say it, like when he was all like, I love you, and then he was like, I know, just like that. And then so they start talking, and he's all like, I seen him, I saw him, he was here. And so they got all happy, right, or whatever. So then cutscene back to Rey. Rey's shooting up all these stormtroopers that were coming after her, and here comes Kylo Ren, and Kylo Ren's chasing the shit out of her. And so she's got blaster, and she's trying to blast at this guy, but he's a freaking Sith, Or he's not a Sith, but he's got a lightsaber. Lightsabers deflect lasers. And so he uses the Force and kind of like stuns her, and she's like not moving. And then he comes up to her, and he's like, you know the location of the map. You've seen the map, and I'm gonna get that information out of you. And then goes, knocks her out, takes her on the ship, and they leave. And that's when he saw her, or that's when he saw Kylo Ren. Now, the way Han Solo looked at Kylo Ren, it's not a normal look. You know there's something there. There's something more than just, oh, there's the bad guy. You know, if you can't already guess by now, it's coming up. You know, it's the signs are there. So then they leave her, whatever. They take her onto a ship and they're gonna interrogate her. But before that, they're talking with Finn. They're talking with what's his name? They're talking with Carrie Fisher, Han Solo, Chewbacca. Chewbacca got hurt, by the way, and they're all talking amongst themselves about what just happened and what they need to do. And so they're like, okay, cool, don't even trip, we got this. So then they leave and they go to where their base is at. So they get to where their base is at, and Finn's looking around and he's looking for Poe, you know, because he saw this badass pilot that was doing some crazy ass moves. Dude, that fool killed like 6 or 7 TIE fighters while he was there, dude. That guy's legit. So then he finally sees him. He runs over. Oh my god! And it's like a big old reunion. BB-8 got reunited with Poe Dameron. You know, BB-8 couldn't be happier to see Poe. And oh, funny thing, when they were still on the other planet, Carrie Fisher and Han Solo are looking at each other. And as they're looking at each other, here comes C-3PO. So like, oh dear Lord, it is you. It's you, Solo, Captain Solo, or whatever, right? Oh my God! And then he turns around and he's like, "Have you seen him? Did you?" And then Carrie Fisher's like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Oh," and he's like looking around like, you know, it's C-3PO. You know, he's being C-3PO, and he's like, "Okay, come on." So he tells BB-8 to let's go, and he gets out of the way or whatever, right? And so he lets them have their moment. And so back on the base planet, so they're in there and they're talking about what happened. Finn's telling Poe, "I need your help. I need to get back. I need to get Rey. I can't leave her. I need to go back and get her. I've been on the planet," and, you know. And so they go into detail. So they go back to Carrie Fisher and Han Solo, and these guys are talking back and forth about how I saw our son, and bam, there it is. Kylo Ren. Kylo Ren's name is Solo. Which Solo is he, though? Obviously, he's not the girl. He's one of the other two. They imply that they only had one kid. They didn't say we had one kid. They implied it. Meaning that in the next movie, they might have more than one kid. Now, they're explaining, they go into detail, I can't remember what part, but they go into detail about how Knights of Ren became the Knights of Ren, and how their son turned to the dark side. And so they're explaining that to Rey, and they're explaining that to Finn. Oh, no. Who did I explain it to? I can't remember. You know what? I think they did explain it to Finn and Rey. I just don't remember what part. I think it was further down the line. But he's telling them, after the fall of the Empire, Luke started looking for the first Jedi Temple, grabbed a group of kids that were Force sensitive, and began training a new generation of Jedi. But Kylo Ren had too much evil in him, too much of his grandfather, which is Darth Vader. Okay, Darth Vader pretty much seated him, and then Han Solo was like, "No, but it was not him. It's that guy and his boss, the big dude. He's the one that twisted him. We can still bring him back. Blah blah yada yada yada." And so Kylo Ren betrays Luke Skywalker. I don't know if he kills everybody or destroys something, because that's the whole scene where you have R2-D2 and then Luke Skywalker puts his hand on the dome. That's like a flashback, but that's where you see the Knights of Ren, where they're all in a big old group, and it's Kylo Ren and then a bunch of guys behind him. Those are the Knights of Ren, and those are the kids that Luke Skywalker taught as Jedi. because of him, Luke Skywalker decided he didn't want to. He just walked away from everything. Is pretty much what he said. He just walked away. He didn't want to be a part of this no more. He just wanted to be left alone. So he went into exile. Nobody knows where he is, and that's what the map is for. So going back to Carrie Fisher and Han Solo on the base planet, and they're talking back and forth about how it's not their fault. I should have never sent him away with Luke. That's when I really lost him, you know. And you know what? You're probably right. If Princess Leia and Han Solo would have kept their kid around, their kid might have been a little bit different. But he wants to be strong like Darth Vader, and that's his problem. He wants to be strong like Darth Vader. But anyways, so there they are. They're talking about how to destroy the planet. They get Finn in there to describe this planet that they need to get to so they can get Rey out. And as they're going over the plan about how to destroy it, they're like, how do you even acquire so much power? Well, it sucks up the sun. It uses the power of the sun to discharge it into a laser, and that's how they're able to destroy whole planets. And well, we need they have to have some kind of a buffering tool and stuff like that. Now, the guy from X-Men, that Asian dude with the spikes all over with the tattoo right here, he's in that movie. The guy, he was also in The Sopranos. He was a crazy guy on The Sopranos, where Jackie Jr. was locked up in the insane asylum, and he was using that guy as the muscle. I'm sorry, bro. You're. I don't really like your acting. You act the same on all your stuff. You don't change it up. You know, it's. I'm not the best actor. For me to criticize you, yeah, okay, I get it, but I don't know. I wasn't feeling your role there. You know, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. But yeah, I wasn't feeling it. So, anyways, he's in there saying, "Oh well, there's got to be some kind of buffing tool and blah 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 yada 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 yada," and so they came up with a good way to destroy it, but it requires somebody to go behind the deflector shield and deactivate the deflector shield so they can come and destroy the base. Sound familiar? So once again, oh, and while they're having that report, then they get that briefing. They get a report saying that, hey, guess what? They're charging their base again because they're sucking the sun out, and they're aiming the gun at us. So they must know exactly where we are. Dun 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 dun. I mean, if that doesn't sound like A New Hope, anyways. So they're like, okay, well, how do you plan on getting behind the deflector shield? He's like, I'd tell you, but you're not gonna like it. It's Han Solo talking to Carrie Fisher, and so pretty much what they ended up doing is they're gonna go fly in light speed, faster than light, through the shield, as closest to the planet as possible, then come out of hyperspace, and then navigate. So like that, they can get in without being detected. It'll be a complete surprise. And that's exactly what they do. Okay, now before I continue that plot, let's go back a little bit. Rey has been captured. She's on Starkiller base. She's being interrogated by Ren personally. Hux. General Hux. That's the guy that I couldn't remember his name. General Hux goes and he rats out Ren over this next little bit. And I forgot a funny fact about that guy again. Another reason why I thought so highly of you, Ren, and then you go and you do this a second time, okay? Back when they were on Jakku planet, when they came down and they were going to capture BB-8, one of the guys, one of the colonels had to come and give the report that Finn got away with BB-8 and a girl helped him, right? So there he is. He's standing in front of this machine, and the guy walks in and he's all scared, you know. Ren, Kylo Ren or whatever. I don't even remember what he said, but he's like, they escaped. We couldn't get them. Um, they had help, and he gets all hissy fitty, and he starts destroying the machine that's in front of him. And actually, you know what? That's the first time he starts throwing that fit, and he's destroying the machine. And he's like, after he destroyed the console that he was working on, he says, "Anything else to report?" A girl helped him. And he was like, "Oh, mother, hell no." So he sticks out his hand, pulls him forward, chokes the shit out of him, and then he stabs him with his sword for his incompetence. And, but that whole little tantrum you threw there, buddy, man. Oh, God, anyways. So there they are. They're on the Starkiller base. He's trying to interrogate her. And he can sense the Force in her. She can sense the Force in her. She's already been told that she's Force sensitive and that she must embrace the Force. So Kylo is trying to get into her mind, and she's fighting back. She's resisting. And at first it didn't work. He's feeling her anguish. He's feeling how alone she really is. She, being left on that planet. He feels all that stuff, And then it gets to the point where he's starting to lose his ability to read her mind. And now she starts reading his. And he's like, "You're scared. You're scared that you'll never be as strong as dun, 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 Darth Vader." So then there you go. And this was all like, all scared. Because here you have a person that is just now learning to use the Force. And already she's stronger than him. And for you to be able to stop a laser mid-flight. I don't even think Darth Vader did that. I've never seen him do that. Could he do that? Maybe. I don't know. It wasn't even done in the Clone Wars stuff. So there you have it. There they are. They're talking. This was all hissy fitty. So he goes to his master, and he tells him about her. Oh, I can't read his mind. I can't read her mind because she's starting to get the Force. She's strong with the Force. And then he's like, "Okay, bring her to me." And then General Hux is like, "Well, we lost BB-8. But you told us not to worry about it, but now they for sure already have the plan. So now that means they're already on their way to look for Luke Skywalker. We don't need Luke Skywalker. We don't need to kill him. We don't need to do nothing. All we got to do is point our little weapon and destroy all the planets. And everybody else is going to fall in line. The rebellion is going to lose. Is that what they call them? The resistance, not the rebellion. It's the resistance, because they're resisting the First Order. The First Order is not like the Empire. You have the Republic. The Republic took over. Now you have a group of renegades called the First Order trying to take over everything again, but their numbers are not sufficient enough to take over the entire galaxy, so they built